that we found a special way to give thanks to those of you who have been our closest supporters and provide you with an update on how we're carrying out our programs in this quite unusual year. Giving Tuesday is the perfect opportunity to do so. Thank you for joining us, all of you. So first, a few technical items. Right now, everyone is on mute to keep the event running smoothly. And so if you need to unmute, you can use the button in your right upper right-hand corner. Also, you can use the chat function, which is at the bottom of your screen. Let us know if you're having any issues with Zoom or if you have any questions, and we'll hope to address those at the end or later in the call. And of course, as maybe many of you know, we're recording this event for those supporters who weren't able to be here, and hopefully they can participate and watch at a later date. Those are my dogs. And of course, it's so important that to those of you who have helped us over the years to understand where we are right now and how we've met this very difficult year and the challenges that have come our way. You know, just as always, this is all about helping the children. It's that simple. Read and Feed has recognized a critical fact about helping children and helping them learn to read. And that is that a large number of kids come to school hungry every day. And kids don't learn as well when they haven't had enough to eat. So Read and Feed invented a way to tutor that's just a bit better by including a meal. And that meal does so many things. First and foremost, it nourishes the child. And it fills a need that gives us a natural break in the reading program. It allows the volunteer to get to know the children with whom they are working, to know what it's like to be with the children, to sit with them and to be in their lives. You get to see them antsy in their seats. You get to see them waiting for their chance to get a free book at the end of the hour. Their excitement becomes your excitement. For me, it's Miriam who was always smiling, or Michael who was so shy, reading louder as he became more and more confident. Or it's Tamaj who was constantly talking about how much he loves salad. So funny. So that's why it's important that we figured out a way to keep going. As all of you know, back in March, we had to suspend our in-person programs due to COVID-19. But we continue to serve our students and their families during this challenging time. In fact, many of you participated in our gift card campaign, which provided all of our participants a gift card to use for food and other basic needs. We've worked with Wake County School Systems, as we always have, to, this is the part where I make a mistake, to make sure that we provide food and books to everyone who need them most. And it's important that we thank all of our partnerships, especially our corporate partners, who have continued to help us raise funds during this difficult year. So now, I think it's appropriate that we share a quick video from one of our corporate sponsors. This is Cisco, who in October selected Read and Feed as their charity of choice and highlighted us as at one of their own virtual Zoom meetings, so key employees could figure out how to help and to give back to their communities. Now, as always with Zoom, some of the video might be a little bit choppy. So I hope that you'll take this time right now, watch the video, and watch the kids have fun. Here's the video.
I really like the RV. My mom was really grateful they have this because I have a bunch of books that I've read a bunch of times. But now I get to have new books, and they're really cool books from here. What I like about Reading Feed is there's a lot of good books in it, and it helps me to learn a lot of educational stuff. Some of the books I got today were Johnny Longlegs, Shiloh, and Minecraft. So I think you should check out Reading Feed. Come to the Y, and you'll get it.
Wow. We are so lucky to have Cisco's support, and, seeing that RV again, which I haven't been in such a long time, I really miss it. And I'm really looking forward to the day that we can get back and do what we're supposed to do. But until then, we'll keep doing all the other things. Those kids always make me smile. In addition to it being Giving Tuesday, it's also another very special day for Read and Feed. We have just hired a new executive director, and it's her very first day today. Sherry Shudra.
Hi, everyone.
She's waving hi. She's got an extensive background in helping nonprofits succeed, but most importantly, she's a person who has passion and commitment and will make sure that we'll be able to serve every kid who needs us in Wake County. Sherry's going to say hello just for a brief second. Did you say hello, Sherry?
I did. Hi, everyone. I'm so grateful for each of you for being here today and to the board for this opportunity. And I just can't wait to learn more. I can't wait to meet the kids and be out at one of the mobile sites and get to experience that with everyone. I'm so thrilled to have this opportunity. And I'm really excited that my first day could be on Giving Tuesday. So thank you all so much for being here. And I'm really excited and just thrilled for this opportunity. And we're going to have so much fun together.
So, Sherry,
yeah.
You know that all the people on this call are some of our most loyal supporters. And they're the ones who are going to be here to help you succeed, not just today, but all the many days into the future. And so welcome, and thank you for being here today. One other thing that's important to mention is that we've been in the quite capable hands of our interim executive director, Miriam Wilson, who is now going to take over and tell us all about what we've been doing leading up to this day and how we've been handling this most challenging year. So Miriam?
Thanks, Greg. And thanks everyone for joining us today. It has been such an honor to be part of the Read and Feed team, and I'm excited to provide you with an update on the impact this organization is having in our community. I hope you know that you are the ones who make this possible. As Greg mentioned, in mid-March, we elected to suspend in-person programming for the safety of our children, volunteers, and their families. But that didn't mean we stopped serving. Our focus on literacy and hunger never changed. We just shifted how we did our work. Over the summer, we did some virtual tutoring with some of the students while we made plans for the fall. And if you all remember, schools were originally scheduled to reopen with in-person classes in August. That didn't happen. So we shifted gears and partnered with the Wake Ed Partnership and the YMCA in a program called the FAST Initiative. Our mobile classrooms traveled to 5 sites each week to distribute books, incentives, and treat bags. While the kids waited to board the RV to select their books, our volunteers would engage them with questions about what they were reading and played some of the games we used during our tutoring sessions. In October, we started our virtual book club. Our first book was Say Something by author Peter Reynolds. After the students received their book, they were encouraged to check out the YouTube read along with our friends from Quail Ridge Books. And in November, players from the North Carolina Football Club read several books, and the videos were posted on our YouTube channel. The students had an opportunity to select a book of their choice and then read along with their favorite player. So this year, to date, we have distributed 21,334 meals, 7,505 books, 1,127 bags of school supplies, and our volunteers have put in over 2,000 hours and sorted more than 6,400 books. And there's lots more to sort, which is great. This is all possible because we had donors like you ready and able to provide us with the means to do this work. We all know that literacy in childhood is one of the most important predictors of success later in life. When a child reads at or above grade level by the end of 3rd grade, he or she is 4 times more likely to graduate from high school and be better prepared for college. Improving literacy lowers generational poverty and improves economic and workforce development. In 2019, 59% of students were eligible for free or reduced lunch. And of this group, only 43% were reading proficiently. Summer reading loss during the elementary school accounts for 2/3 of the achievement gap in reading between children from low-income families and their peers from middle income. And did you know that summer reading loss has a cumulative effect? By 5th grade, it can leave underserved students 2.5 to 3 years behind their peers. As you can imagine, the pandemic brought to light the critical nature of our work and amplified disparities in education, food, and security. We no longer have just a summer reading slide. We have a COVID learning loss. Adding COVID to the mix and remote learning, all students will lose ground. The loss can vary from 3 to 4 months up to 12 to 14 months, depending on whether the student receives average to great remote instruction or none at all. It is predicted that underserved students will lose more than 12 months. With those stats alone, we believe our work takes on new meaning and is more important than ever. It's hard to believe that 2021 is just around the corner and COVID doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. So Read and Feed has a new mantra. It's called flexibility, and safety will always be at the forefront. We know in-person tutoring is best, and where we can, we will be there in person. When that's not possible, we'll be tutoring virtually. We learned a lot over the summer about virtual tutoring, what works and what doesn't. And fortunately for us, the schools have resolved many of the issues with remote learning, making it a part of the students' new norm. In addition to tutoring, it's important that our participants are well fed. It's hard to learn when you're hungry. Read and Feed will continue to provide meals to the students, whether the students share a meal on site or take a meal home. We plan to continue our monthly book club and will integrate it into our monthly programming. The book club provides an additional opportunity for the students to build their home library with new books, improve their reading comprehension, and gain confidence contributing to group discussions. We have been working with Wake County schools and teachers, our volunteers, and sites to develop the best plan for each location. As students get back from the holidays, we'll continue supporting the FAST initiative, which is scheduled to end in the middle or the end of January. Read and Feed programming will begin in February. We are all looking forward to warmer weather and daylight savings time when we can all be outside and in person. To better address the COVID learning loss, Read and Feed will continue to partner with Wake Up and Read, Wake County Schools, the City of Raleigh, the Boys and Girls Club, and the YMCA to align our efforts. We have much to do, and your donations and continued involvement will make all this possible. I have truly enjoyed my time at Read and Feed. It's been great, and know that the team is set up for success as the torch is passed on to Sherry. I will work to ensure the transition is a smooth one, and Sherry is well equipped to move this exciting work forward. I'll miss my time at Read and Feed, but I believe Read and Feed has gained a new donor and a new volunteer. Thank you, Greg. We greatly appreciate all you do to give kids an appetite for reading. Thank you. So now I'm going to turn it over to Lisa Brown, our development associate, who's going to moderate our Q&A.
Great. Miriam, thank you. And it's been a pleasure working with you too. Thank you for the attention, the time that you've given us to just pass the torch over. We appreciate all that you've done.
Well, it's been my pleasure. It's been lots of fun.
Great. So for those of you in attendance, feel free to ask questions in the chat. You can use the chat area. I'll be monitoring and checking. And I also invite you to unmute and we can have a dialogue as well. We want this time to be about you, about questions that you may have, or any thoughts that you would like to share about programming moving forward. So I will allow some awkward silence, but then I'll also follow up with some questions too. There is a question in the chat room questions about volunteers. And Miriam, if you could spend a little bit of time talking about our need for volunteers, how are we staffed to go back into in-person learning and doing some virtual tutoring?
Yeah, so last year, pre-COVID, we had over 400 tutors who were doing in-person tutoring at our 24 different sites. This year, it's going to be a combination of in-person tutoring and virtual tutoring. We can always use more, and it's kind of one of these things that's a big puzzle. And so we're going to have volunteers who are ready and willing to go back in person, and those that are more interested in doing virtual tutoring. So yes, if anybody you know who's interested in volunteering, send them our way. And we have a great training program. Trisha Sandridge, who's on this call, is our volunteer coordinator. We do lots of training for our new volunteers, so you don't have anything to fear whether you're doing it in person or virtually.
Great, thank you. A follow-up question to that too is about virtual tutoring and how that may work. And so I will just add that this past summer, as Miriam said, we piloted our virtual learning and our virtual tutoring programs. We ended up using Zoom, but the students weren't as familiar with Zoom in the Wake County Public Schools. They are using Google Meet. So we are switching platforms. We're looking into switching those platforms so that by now the students are very familiar with how Google Meet works, how to unmute, how to talk and interact and go into breakout sessions. So we learned quite a deal this past summer that we will continue to evolve and modify into the fall, or actually into the winter and the spring as we continue virtual learning.
Lisa, it's Greg. I just wanted to add one thing to that. One of the, to emphasize what Miriam said, which is the flexibility. One of the big things that we've learned out of all of this is to be flexible, to know that even though we were just going right along, doing our mission, serving more children, when this happened, we were able to just kind of, turn on a dime and figure out a way to help kids. And I think this experience is going to help us evaluate what it is we need to do in the future. I mean, this is going to be a part of our long-term planning and our strategic planning as we figure out, what are some of the ways that we learn during what are some of the things that we learned during this that we can use in the future. So I wanted to add that.
Thank you. Thanks. And you spoke a little bit about the challenges and needing to be flexible. Miriam, can you speak a little bit about the challenges we're facing as an organization as we move forward?
Yeah, so I like to think of it as a big puzzle piece. So all the pieces have to fit together, and they're not always going to fit together in the same way. So in working with the different schools, our different locations, so we have 9 where we do mobile sites, and then we have other locations, churches, schools, where we did the in-person tutoring. And so each one of those is different, whether they've opened back up or haven't opened up, whether they're willing to do the in-person, provide the meals. So it's putting all the pieces together of the puzzle. And so I think that's going to be the biggest challenge, because as we know, things can change on a dime. I think the Wake County School Board is meeting today to make some decisions about 2021. And, they may meet again next week and make some new decisions about 2021. So I think flexibility is what we're going to be going for 2021.
What other questions are looming out there?
Lisa, there's a question about book donations, and this is a question we get all the time. So, what kind of books do we accept, and what kind of and in what condition? So if anyone wants to give a primer on that, that'd be great.
So of course we love new books. Kids love new books, but we look for books that are in good condition. We prefer hardback over paperback, but we'll take both. We tend to, we want books that are appropriate for K-5 through 5th grade. We don't take religious books. We don't take, what do you call them? Board books.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you call them? Board books?
That open up for little kids.
Right. We don't do, in fact, we actually will donate those to another organization if we receive those. Did I miss anything, Lisa or Tricia, that
We do have a wish list both on Amazon and with Quail Ridge Books that people can donate new books. I think what we find is that the new books go quickly. They want to get the ones that everybody else is reading. So we always appreciate new book donations and just continuing to diversify our book holdings just to make sure that they represent every child that is going through our RVs and picking out books. Great. Well, at this time, I want to, we're at 12:25. I do want to turn it back over to Greg to close us out. So Greg, back to you.
Thanks, Lisa. Wow, what a quick and wonderful update on what we've been doing. Those of you who are on the call right now, you were all personally invited to be here because you have been supporters of our program, and thank you so much for accepting the invitation and being here. As a board member, I know that to stay strong, to continue to figure out ways to conduct our mission, we need the strength and the commitment of people like you, especially now during COVID-19, as we are figuring out all the new things that we should be doing to help kids. Last year we put a fair amount of energy into our traditional fundraising efforts. Novel night, gala, which everybody loves to go to, our Feed the Reader breakfast, which is always fun. We weren't able to do that this year, but we have been able to be successful in other ways during the pandemic. And we've had to figure out a new way to ask those of you out there to open your hearts and open your wallets. And so I would like to now ask you personally to accept my invitation to give again to this organization that you have helped so much over the years. As you know, it's worthwhile. We're approaching the end of the year. It's always an important time for us to go back to the people who've supported us before and, you know, ask for more. So as Miriam mentioned, you know, there are lots of kids who are going to be affected by by this COVID-19 gap. Plenty of kids out there are getting the extra help that they need right now, but many aren't. And that's going to fall on us. It's going to fall on Read and Feed to make sure that we figure out a way to close that gap and continue to give the services that we do. So that's why we ask so much of you and why we will continue to do so. Those children need us. They need a champion. That champion comes in many forms, and it's our volunteers, and it's the people who open their wallets and continue to donate to us and give us the resources we need to continue Read and Feed. You can give online at our website. I wish I had a little thing to hold up where I could say, here, call this number, but it's much easier to go online. That's very convenient. You can also reach out to Lisa, who is our development associate. She can assist you in any way you need to make sure that that the way that's best for you to give will result in our being able to take care of the kids. That's kind of about it for this, our first Giving Tuesday special event. Again, thanks for being here. Thank you for the gift of your time. And I look forward to many future reports where we can report our success again. Thanks to you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, thanks.
Thank you.